welcome to this evening's edition of the Alumni Speaker Series. I'm Annie Puffett. I am the Director of Career Development here at the university. And on behalf of the university, I would like to welcome Dr. Michael Lay to our conversation this evening. Dr. Lay is an alum from our online and Des Moines program. He received his undergraduate degree when the information technology degree was called Technology Information Management back in 2008. And then in 2013, he received his MBA. And in 2019, he received his Master's of Education. So that is just very brief about what he did his time here as a student at Upper Iowa. And so on that note, Dr. Lay, I'd like to welcome you to this evening's talk. And as we talk with our alums every month, it's always so encouraging and wonderful to hear all of their stories and the successes that they've had and how that can translate to what our current students are doing and what other alums are doing that might be wanting to pursue a same path. And this evening, we are joined by President Emeritus Dr. Duffy, who always enjoys chatting with our alums right along with me during these conversations. So Dr. Duffy, do you have any words that you want to say before we kick things off with our talk tonight?
I'm very proud of Dr. Lay and what you've done, especially coming from Upper Iowa University. You come here, get your master's degree, and you've been with us with the undergrad. No, you weren't an undergrad. You were with undergrad, right? And then you came back to us, which was fantastic, doing that online. And so you know a lot about Upper Iowa University. And the bottom line is, I'd say to all those that are involved in this, ask some questions, because where he's been is where you are. And basically, you can learn a lot from our alumni that go through certain things and have such a great, as far as he has a career, and very proud of him. So thanks again, Dr. Lay, and look forward to this discussion. And hello to all of our students and faculty and staff, whoever's joined. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Duffy. So yes, I would just like to echo Dr. Duffy's comments that anyone that is watching tonight, if you do have any questions for Dr. Lay, please drop them in the comment section of the Facebook Live feature. I will be monitoring that throughout our conversation tonight, and we'll be asking those questions as they come up. And if you happen to be watching the playback of this or the Zoom recording once it gets posted online, if you have any questions for Dr. Lay after tonight, you can still ask them by either commenting on that Facebook link, and I'll continue to monitor that, or you can reach out to me within the Office of Career Development, and I can pass those along to Dr. Lay and get that connection and network started for you as well. So let's just kick things right off tonight. I know there's several things that you want to talk about, but why don't you first just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you, Ann and Dr. Duffy and UIU for this opportunity. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Michael Lay, and I can tell a little bit about myself. In this long story short, I was born and raised in Vietnam until I was 16. However, I do not have any siblings, so just my parent and I. At the time, we live in the suburban of Ho Chi Minh City, what's they call now. My parents were kind of a farmer type. We do much of rice paddy and things like that. So I didn't have a chance to go much to school because my parents couldn't afford it for me to go to school, so forced me to drop out. However, my parents wanted to have a better plans for me. So we kind of get on the fishing boat, and that's the journey begin. So it took us about 4 days and five nights. My parents and I, and with a younger cousin. So that's 4 of us start a journey from the city out to the south of the Vietnam and come across the China Sea to Malaysia. So that the long trip there was a lot of obstacles, no food, the water, and so on and so forth. When we went to Malaysia, that's another chapters of our life to start. We was in a refugee camp in the island for about 6 months. We got transferred into the mainland, which is Kuala Lumpur, was the city of Malaysia, for over a year. Long story short, we got accepted by the U.S. delegation to come to the U.S. So they found a sponsor from Des Moines, Iowa. That's how I ended up with Des Moines. Did we know anything about Des Moines? We didn't. Never heard of it. So anyway, Des Moines is still better than the refugee camp. So that's another chapter of our life start. Coming with, by the time I got to the country, I was 18 with no English. So start with high school, North High School, and finish high school and then go to community college and start from there, working out and on job to support the family, you know, with the all the expenses that we got. And then that continue from there. Start with school, community college, take a while for me to get one associate, and then move on from education there to get a bachelor. I'm gonna get second bachelor with Upper Iowa. Get the first master's at Des Moines University, MBA with Upper Iowa, master education with Upper Iowa, doctorate, a PhD with Walden, and doctor in business with Walden as well. So that's the academic journey that I have. I spent about 20 years for those schools. And the professional one, you know, when I first came with no English, so I didn't have a whole lot of choice. I start with housekeeping, clean a hotel, when in the hospital, which is where I worked for a number of years after that. And then I moved up to medical record clerk. I was a pharmacy technician for a while. I was interpreter for the county hospital for a while. And then I was in IT for the last 20 years before I start with education. So that's really the nutshells of what my life went through for that last 35 years in the Iowa in general. We never left, so.
We did have a quick question come through on the live feed that wanted to know, how old were you when you left Vietnam?
I left when I was 16, and I got to Des Moines when I just turned 18.
So you've talked about your background in coming here and your educational and professional background, but can you give us a little background on what brought you to Upper Iowa specifically?
So at the Des Moines, you know, live in Des Moines, which is a small town at the time, everything closed by 8, you know, nothing past that. Anyway, we thought it'd be moving somewhere else because the first snow was great and then everything else is not after that. But we never did. Anyway, working job, and after to get to the community college, and then I'm looking for something for higher, you know, education to get advancing the career. So Upper Iowa, close to there, give me an opportunity of evening classes once a week because I work full time during the day. And you know, this the short term with 8-week long course, so that's fit more into my schedule than traditional school. And also only 15 minutes away from home, so that worked out perfectly. And that's how it brought me into the undergrad at the Des Moines Center, or either Des Moines or West Des Moines, whatever it's called now. And then I came back with the graduate after that.
And when you did the undergraduate, that was at the center, but your graduate degrees, those were done online, or were those also done at the center?
Both of those was online.
Okay. Fast forward to you've gotten your undergraduate degree and you were in the IT profession for about 20 years. Can you talk about the different roles that you've had in IT and what some of the key takeaways were from each of those positions that helped you in your success?
Well, as you mentioned, I was in the IT for 20 years, and I started out with the help desk after I got my associate degree. And I like to get a bachelor's so I can move up from there. So I was working and go to school at the same time to advance myself. So after the help desk, while the schooling, and then I get move up to a technical field, which is a little higher level of the IT field at the time. Technical 1 and then technical 2. And then I got the chance to move up to they call system analyst. So which is work with different system in the hospital, such as medical record or pharmacy, to keep them updated, to migrations and all that stuff. And the last job from IT field, I was the network system analyst 2, which is managed the whole campus of the school.
Now we'll fast forward to past your IT experience, and you are involved in higher education. So you're involved in some adjunct instructor roles as well as being in a traditional faculty role. Can you talk about, you're doing that at Upper Iowa in the adjunct capacity as well as at other institutions. Can you talk about the specific places that you are teaching and how your background and experience have helped in those roles, or what made you move from the IT profession in wanting to be into higher education?
Thank you, Ann. That's a fully loaded question.
It is. So take
I
your
will-
time.
All right, I will start from that. Well, fast forward from after the 20 years, but the last 10 of those years, I was an adjunct for community college as the teaching the computer science field. So that's where I found the interest from teaching. So I kind of leaned toward to that the last 5 years of the IT part of that. In the meantime, I get a higher ed, education along with the experience so I can move on to the education field. So with that, transfer from that, right now I am a business professor for the Ellsworth Community College in Iowa Falls. And I'm still adjunct for DMACC and also adjunct for Upper Iowa in the Master's Healthcare Administration and also in the MBA program. So, and the reason why I do that, because I found the teaching more exciting. And this is part of the second part of my life after got those things accomplished. However, as the educator, I cannot change the world, but I can change someone's life one at a time.
You have faced a lot of adversity in your life, from coming from Vietnam to the United States to being able to complete the degrees that you have and moved up like you have. How does determination and being motivated play a role in everyday life and in your career?
Well, with these long story short, there's a lot of obstacles that I went through for the last, whatever number of years after the day that I left my hometown. With the experience for the journey of, getting to the refugee camp and all that. Now, the challenge I got when I stepped foot in the state, which means with the no communication, that was a top challenge there. Start with school when you have no idea what people are talking about. So I got to start with the, alphabetical and then go from the number system and go from there. So the challenge is the high school, I have to do twice the work to get my high school through it. And then also in the daily life as well, go to work. If you can't communicate with them, you can't get any better job than what you can get. So that was another obstacle there. And then, the culture shock is a big thing for me. I never seen snow in my life other than in the movie. So until I experienced it, which is good, first snow, but then it's not good after that because it's so painful, especially I have to walk on it, go to work and go to school and all that, and then get colder and all that. The experience is more, I guess we learn as we go. I didn't know all the school buses are yellow. And the one that dropped me off, not the one that picked me up, so I went to the wrong bus, wrong school. I didn't know I was supposed to get like a front wheel drive car instead of rear wheel drive car. I was happy I have a car. Or I didn't know I was supposed to put antifreeze in it instead of water. So it froze up. I mean, it didn't work, so it ruined the engine. So those things that, we just learn it the hard way, but we get through it somehow. So those are obstacles that we have a challenge on that. But with those, that give me more motivations to accomplish more things that I never could dream of. Because I never dream of where I'm at today, even though, in the lecture hall or teaching somebody. And, that's something that I should be proud of. And of course, my family really proud of me on that one.
And speaking of your family, your wife, from what I understand, is also an alum from Upper Iowa University. Is that
That
correct?
is correct. We both went kind of like the same time, however, a different day though, because we have to watch the kid. So we rotate, things like that.
Well, that's awesome that your wife received her degree from here also.
Mhm.
So making connections and building relationships is something that I stress quite often in the Office of Career Development. And it's so important to helping with the advancement in any particular field. What would you say is your biggest piece of advice for students and alums that are looking to build relationships?
Well, whether it is alums or a current student, I would recommend to get connected with their professor or any other leadership that they work with, or where they volunteer, or at their church. Those places, those connections is really important nowadays. And with the advanced technology that we have, stay connection is not that hard. It's just whether we want to do it or not.
Which then kind of piggybacks onto, in order to be connected, we have to have communication. Displaying communication skills and leadership qualities are attributes that are going to help in anybody's career. As a faculty member at a number of places, what are some other key qualities of a leader or a successful professional that you're seeing in the students that you work with?
I've seen that students like to have a teamwork, because whether in the classroom or the online environment, nowadays with the technology, they still can do a teamwork. And also in the work environment, I mean, there's no such a thing as an I anymore. It's going to be we. So with that, they have to be communicate somehow. Otherwise, they won't get anything done or correctly. And then the other keywords I'm looking for is the leadership of each of those students. Like I'm an advisor for the PTK, which is Phi Theta Kappa. So we train or we teach a student that try to build their leadership while they still under community college level. And then when they get up to graduate level, and then when they go out to the real life.
Communication and leadership are all part of the career readiness competencies that I like to showcase within my office. And it is an important topic in career services, employers across the country. What competencies do you feel are most important in helping excel in one's career goals, and why do you feel those are important?
I would say leadership, that would be an important one. Because they're going to be leading their whatever workplace they're going to be, the project, the group, or even though for those graduate now, they're going to be leading the organization, which is, it could be a nursing home, or could be a hospital, or could be, one of the nonprofit business too. So they need those skills to advance themselves in the long run.
Very good. And then to piggyback off of that, how would you encourage students and others to improve those skills and competencies?
Well, they need to involve in, collaboration with others. The teamwork's again, like, revolving back to it. The communication is the key successful for their business nowadays. Whether it's this technology way to commute or face-to-face, which is, it could be either one of them, but I think it would be important for individual to either moving up for themselves or to get the goals accomplished. Collaboration is important part.
I do have a question that came in. Let me see here. Do you recall any UIU faculty or staff that assisted you and helped to ensure your success?
Yes, matter of fact, Chris Cracknose. And of course, Dr. Billy Crowley, she's still
Billy Kelly,
there.
yep.
Yep. And of course, Dr. Julie Henders, but she's no longer with UIU. And actually, the funny part is the dissertation chair that I did to Walden, Dr. Marilyn Simon. She used to be a UIU faculty. That's how I connected with her to be my dissertation chair for Walden.
All
No,
right.
it is a small word. And then there's another faculty, Dr. Linda Rose, that was an adjunct for UIU as well.
Dr. Cragness and Dr. Cowley are both still with Upper Iowa, so kudos to them for making a lasting impression on the work that you are doing now.
You've had an amazing journey. I can't imagine how you from your young age with your family taking off, going across a tremendous length of water and just make it, and you find yourself here in Des Moines, Iowa. It's quite a journey. To me, those are the kind of things that could be a book so easy. It's you got to have a lot of belief, you got to have a lot of family, close family, and it's just overcome the challenges. I can't imagine.
Yeah, the question I have with that is why Des Moines, and 35 years, I still can't answer that question yet. And I still the same place.
I do have another question for you. You mentioned that when you came to the Des Moines area, you did not know any English. And we do have a lot of international students on our campus and across the United States that take classes with Upper Iowa. And some of them may have a bit of a language barrier when they come to our campuses or when they come to the United States. What kind of advice would you have for those students in how they can get over that, maybe that struggle that they're having, or that language barrier, or maybe feeling like they aren't necessarily as much a part of the community because they feel that might be a bit of a barrier to them? Do you have any advice for any of our international students that might feel that way?
Oh, I'm sure they feel that way, because whether they have English on the background or not, because the communications, the hearing skills is different from what we learned from back home. Therefore, when the actual English speaking here is different from that. So I'm sure they're going to frustrate it and also panic attacks on that one. What I advise to them, they say, well, don't be like that. We just open it up. Try to communicate. That's how you get over that hump. And also practice on listening skills as well. And that will get, past those. Once they have passed those hump, then it'll be a lot easier. It's just the first part is the sign part. They can't, open up to others. Is really hard on that.
I hope that can be helpful for anyone that is dealing with that particular scenario. Are there I don't see any other questions that have come in. So are there any other final pieces of advice as we wrap things up with you this evening that you have for the university community that would be tuning in for you?
One piece of advice I would give is whether it's a personal goal or it's academic goals. So set your goals and shoot for it. But along with that, it got to be a lot of motivation, determination, and dedications to it. And last but not least on that is the discipline. Because if you can't do that, discipline yourself, it's hard to get, point A to point B. Therefore, have to have some discipline to yourself. Otherwise it won't get it done. But then also it's saying, oh, I would do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never come, right? So it's always today. So it could be a hard one, but also in the academic the same way. Hey, I want to get advanced in like graduate school or MBA or master of some sort. Yeah, but keep talking about it's not going to happen. So set some goals on it and push yourself to it. That's what I would do.
Motivation and determination and discipline. Those sound like great talking points to end our conversation on. And so, Dr. Lay, I would like to thank you for joining us this evening and spreading your advice and experiences to the university community. And I would encourage everyone to join us again next month right here on the Alumni Speaker Series when we are joined by another alum that will give a little bit of insight to their experience as well. So thank you all for joining us this evening and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Hey, thanks a lot, Andy, and also Dr. Lay.